The final season of one of the best westerns the world has ever seen is finally here. Well, it's almost here. Part 2 of Season 5, the finale of Yellowstone, is coming in hot in November 2024, and fans couldn't be more excited about it. To add to the anticipation of one of the best shows in modern history, the finale's also been a long time coming. Yep. 2 years to the day that Beth confronted Jamie for his scheming ways, we're finally about to witness what the Duttons are up to in the final season. Who will get the Montana ranch? Who's going to get burned along the way? And was it all even worth it? That's what we're all waiting to find out when the finale finally drops. In the meantime, we have a few clues and hints from the trailer that might give us some idea on what's about to happen. Will John Dutton be a part of the finale? Officially, no. And that's a tough pill to swallow for fans of Kevin Costner, who were hoping that his exit from the show ahead of its finale and Taylor Sheridan's reported vow to never let him back on set was just a crazy PR rumor to increase viewership. It wasn't, although the part about there being animosity between the two was indeed inflated. Sure, Taylor wasn't too thrilled that Kevin was walking away, or the fact that he was only willing to stay if he was offered more money and creative control over the show. In any case, the past is in the past, and unfortunately, so is Kevin's career as John Dutton. The burning question online is, how will Taylor make do without the star of the show? It wasn't just the fact that Kevin held the most star power out of anyone in the main cast, but he was the show. The Duttons revolved around the patriarch, and that was, of course, John Dutton. So now what? Some people believed that the show would crash and burn like others before it. This wouldn't be the first time the lead actors called it quits ahead of the finale, and it won't be the last. In almost every other case, the show begins to crumble and viewership goes down. Will that be the case for Yellowstone? It doesn't seem like it. Fans might be sad that Kevin won't be a part of the end to the show he helped create into a television masterpiece, and John Dutton's absence will be felt, but viewership is anticipated to be record-breaking. Cast and characters in the trailer. The trailer's narrated by Kevin himself, which makes fans believe that he might be in at least one episode of the final season. In all probability, it'll be the very first episode of Part 2, the one that kicks off where Part 1 left things. Of course, per Yellowstone tradition, Season 5 was left on a cliffhanger. Kelly Riley's Beth and Wes Bentley's Jamie are going head-to-head. Now that Beth knows Jamie isn't to be trusted, which, by the way, he never made it a secret, she's going out guns blazing. The trailer seems intense, with Jamie telling Beth that if she comes for him, she'll end up losing everything she has. This would have been enough to kick things off in high gear for the old Beth, the one who wanted nothing more than to fight back. Likewise, the Beth who hated Jamie and everything he stood for. But this time, something's different. She has Rip to look after. But does Rip need Beth to mellow him down? Maybe? The Dutton ranch hand has always been there for John and the gang, and he formed a bond with Beth that's given the intense and often chaotic Western some semblance of a love story. In any case, things are moving faster than ever. Jamie's bent on taking the Montana ranch, and he's not the only one. Thomas Rainwater wants back what's rightfully his. The only member of the Duttons he believes will stand with him is Casey. The somewhat calmer of the Dutton clan has Tate and Monica to look after, and with that comes a sense of responsibility for the tribe. While Beth and Jamie fight for the ranch, both claiming it's rightfully theirs, it seems like Rainwater's striking a deal with the forgotten Dutton from right underneath them. Anyway, back to Rip. Beth's tired, and she says so in the trailer, implying that after years and years of fighting off one foe and then another for the ranch, it might just be time for them to give it all up. Cut their losses and move away. It's just not worth it anymore, right? Rip would beg to differ. The Dutton family's closest ally believes that the ranch should stay in the family, and Jamie's not family. He's willing to go to any means necessary to honor his word to John. Beth is having a hard time grappling with her urge to keep fighting and the fact that things have taken a toll on her, and she's just too exhausted to continue the fight. Meanwhile, things aren't necessarily smooth sailing for Jamie either. He's just tried to make a case against John, looking to impeach him and get the ranch into the hands of people who'd definitely demolish it for a golf club or a resort. He's in bed with some very, very dangerous people, and they want what's been promised to them one way or another. Of course, the finale includes other main characters as well, including Tate, who seems like he's finally ready to channel his Dutton side and take charge too. Maybe in the middle of all of the infighting, Tate's the one who walks away with the rights to the ranch. Wait, but what about the guy who, as of this moment, still has the ranch? What about John? Well, the trailer does include him in some capacity. He's there narrating the whole thing, and he's also in a few scenes where he talks about what the ranch means for everyone, what the Dutton family will have to do to keep it. However, his scenes in the minute-and-a-half-long trailer aren't necessarily action-packed. It almost gives the energy of someone who's passing along his wisdom to the next generation while he plans on retiring. What's so special about Yellowstone? The show debuted in 2018, which was the first year it won the award for being the most watched cable show. It won the same award next year in 2019, and since then, Yellowstone has cemented its position as a television staple. If anything, Taylor Sheridan has just redefined television history with the ultimate Western. Obviously, this is a major claim to make, but it's backed with all the reasons why Yellowstone is the best Western you're ever going to see. Taking things back to 2018, Yellowstone entered a familiar yet almost unfamiliar space of television westerns. Was it the first Western show in history? Not really, but then again, how many epic Western television shows can you name? To make it more difficult, how many can you name that are set in present day? Yellowstone catered to a very, very specific audience, but that didn't deter Sheridan from pitching the idea to Paramount Network. This might be a great time to pivot to a fun fact about the show. Taylor had the idea for Yellowstone planned for almost a decade before the show was picked up. Again, everyone was confused as to just how well a Western would fare in the modern television scene. Critics weren't exactly throwing confetti at first, but by season 3, this Taylor Sheridan creation stampeded to the top, becoming America's most watched show. Its mix of grit, breathtaking Montana landscapes, and juicy family drama had everyone talking. The creative force behind movies like Sicario and Hell or High Water knows how to convey intense human emotions. With the success of Yellowstone and its prequels, 1883 and 1923, he tapped into a nostalgic vibe while keeping the stories fresh. Audiences loved following the Dutton family as they navigated loyalty, land disputes, and complex relationships. It felt like a Shakespearean drama, but with cowboys and wide-open Montana landscapes. Montana was more than just a setting. It became a character in itself. From the sweeping scenes of Paradise Valley to quiet, intimate moments on the Yellowstone Ranch, the landscapes added a magical quality to the show. While there were some Hollywood touches, viewers embraced it, enjoying the escape to a place where nature and progress clashed dramatically. The show's appeal also lay in its revival of the classic Western theme, a genre rooted in American culture. Yellowstone drew on the myth of the West, reminding viewers of classic films like True Grit and Stagecoach. Sheridan didn't shy away from darker themes, addressing issues like Native American mistreatment and the impacts of violence. Yellowstone wasn't just entertainment, it sparked conversations. Kevin Costner brought a commanding presence, attracting even more viewers. His portrayal of a ranch owner fighting fiercely for his family's legacy added weight to the series, resonating especially with rural audiences who could connect with Dutton's struggles. As Yellowstone developed, it became clear that viewers were craving stories that mirrored their own lives. While many TV shows centered on city life, Yellowstone flipped the script, focusing on relatable, hard-working characters from rural backgrounds. This authenticity resonated with farmers, ranchers, and people from small towns. Yellowstone didn't just revive the Western genre, it inspired a trend of similar stories across the industry. With rich characters and themes of resilience, it showed that the dreams and struggles of the American West are still alive. As Sheridan continues to create, the legacy of Yellowstone paves the way for new stories that celebrate working-class life and the diverse experiences of America. Will the final season live up to the hype? Again, can the show really survive without John Dutton? You'd think that Kevin's exit created a hole that sent Taylor spiraling, and you wouldn't be too far off, but it's not like he hadn't planned the ending already. Yes, a few kinks had to be worked out when John was completely absent from the finale, but according to Kelly Riley, he was never meant to have that big of a role in the finale anyway. And that's also something that we can ascertain from the trailer. Kevin's passing along everything he knows and has learned about Yellowstone down to the people who've looked up to him for all these years. He's ready to say goodbye, and he knows that the Dutton kids will find a way to come toward a solution on their own. Maybe one that involves a whole lot of bloodshed, but that's on them. In any case, it makes sense, doesn't it? John was the lead character for 5 seasons, and despite everyone's frivolous attempts at taking over the ranch, he remained steadfast. How could the finale be the ultimate end if it didn't, in some capacity, show John shaking hands with a new owner as he walked away from the ranch for good? Could it be Beth, his apparent favorite even though he'd never say it? Could it be Jamie, who's developed a soft spot in fans' hearts after his treatment all those seasons? Could it be Casey, who seems like the ultimate link between the Duttons and the native tribes? Could it be Rip, who'll start a new generation of Yellowstone ranch owners? Or then again, could it be Tate, who'll give everyone the best of both worlds? You can't completely rule out a new character in the mix either, knowing Taylor, obviously. What exactly happens to John is one of the things being kept under lock and key, along with whatever happens next between Beth and Jamie. But according to star Kelly, John's absence didn't change anything about the ending that series creator Taylor had been working toward from day one. The absence was part of the ending, Riley tells Entertainment Weekly. That's not something that we had to pivot. That was already written into the tapestry of the story. It was always going to happen. It just happened a little bit differently. Riley has known Sheridan's ending since he first shared it with her during season 1. She claimed that the creator's plan originally included 5 seasons before the show became such a huge success. It was always going to be 5 seasons in his head, but because the show became so successful, the network and everyone wanted more, Riley said. So, in a way, fate took it, and we ended this part of Yellowstone in a way that he always envisioned it to end. When Yellowstone Season 5 first aired in early 2023, fans had no idea it was the beginning of the end. However, reports surfaced of delays due to Kevin's departure, a shortage of scripts, and later the 2023 SAG and WGA strikes. Now, when Yellowstone returns on November 10th, it will mark the final episodes without Costner. Luke Grimes, who plays Casey, hinted that fans should expect a profound, beautiful ending to the beloved series. For those wanting more, the Yellowstone universe is expanding. A new present-day spin-off titled The Madison is on the way, featuring Michelle Pfeiffer, Matthew Fox, and Patrick J. Adams. There's also another prequel series, 1944, and a second season of 1923. Plus, discussions continue about future stories for some original characters. Netflix just made a knockoff of Yellowstone. Like we said, Yellowstone redefined the Western space, which only opened up a window of opportunity for streaming giants. Call it inspiration or blatant plagiarism, but the plot for Netflix's Territory seems a lot like Taylor's Yellowstone. This would have been a problem if the two shows had debuted together. Taylor beat Netflix by 6 years. It is a great thing for fans, however, who've already been wondering what they'll have to binge on now that Yellowstone's drawing toward its final end. Now close your eyes and imagine a show which features a feuding family, a succession battle, and a whole lot of ranch land. You'd think it's Yellowstone, right? Well, it's also the plot for Territory. Eerie similarities, right? One thing's for sure, however, it'll never be Yellowstone. But maybe this could be the new Territory. Who knows? Kevin Costner's patriarchal role is countered with Robert Taylor's role as the family head. The Aussie actor could have fooled anyone with his accent. He's been known to play a killer Wyoming accent in Longmire anyway. In Territory, however, he's the John Dutton-esque Colin Lawson, owner of the largest cattle ranch in the world. It occupies an Australian outback spread that Lawson rules with an iron fist as an empire unto itself. When Marianne Station is left without a clear successor, Netflix explains about the cattle station at the heart of the 6-episode Territory, generational clashes threaten to tear the Lawson family apart. Sensing this once great dynasty is in decline, the Outback's most powerful factions, rival cattle barons, desert gangsters, indigenous elders, and billionaire miners move in for the kill. With billions of dollars at stake, everyone wants a piece of the pie. The show debuted in late October 2024 and has received a moderate viewership so far. Critics are waiting a little longer for their final verdict on Territory, but it looks like the show's been welcomed with a lukewarm reception. Then again, Yellowstone needed a minute to really settle into the hearts of millions of fans worldwide too. The season opens with Colin looking for a new successor after the unexpected death of Daniel Lawson. His daughter-in-law is one choice, but Lawson unfortunately considers her a gold digger, while her husband, who's also Colin's last surviving son, is an alcoholic. Meanwhile, vultures, including a dangerous cattle baron and a scheming billionaire, are salivating at the thought of the ranch. Davey said in a promotional interview with Netflix that during a pandemic-era beach walk with Gibson, the two got excited about the prospect of doing a big-scale, high-stakes action drama set on a cattle station, in a part of the country you don't often see on screen. It was a complete contrast as we were surrounded by the Bondi crowd, people moving past us in their activewear, wetsuits, carrying their surfboards, while Rob and I were dreaming up stories about people in jeans, boots, and flannel shirts in the top end. There's also another Taylor Sheridan show on the horizon too. Pun intended. Kevin Costner apparently actually left Yellowstone to follow his decades-long dream to create a Western of his own. His, however, is a film franchise known as Horizon. The first 2 movies are out, and let's just say the critics and fans wish he'd just stayed on as John Dutton. It would have been a better option than whatever they just watched was. Yes, Horizon didn't live up to the hype, especially when you factor in that Kevin built a sort of reputation for himself as the ultimate cowboy because of Yellowstone. But this isn't about Horizon or how badly it tanked. This is about Landman, and what's anticipated to becoming a hit. It's another one of Taylor's spin-off series, and we all know just how much he loves spin-offs, with several progressing to new seasons, several coming up, and several already ready for release. We also have Landman, the story of the oil industry. Right off the bat, is this the real replacement to Yellowstone fans are hoping for? Sure. Territory follows a similar storyline, but it's not Yellowstone, and could never really become it. But maybe Landman becomes the de facto Season 6 that everyone's hoping for. Well, unfortunately, that won't be the case. However, don't let this stray you from catching what's anticipated to becoming a hit in itself. So Sheridan has created and produced 6 seasons for Paramount. Among them are 2 Yellowstone spin-offs, Mayor of Kingstown, Tulsa King, Special Ops Lioness, and Lawman Bass Reeves. Soon, Sheridan will be able to add Landman to that list. It's clear that Paramount has found its new favorite director and scriptwriter. After the success of Yellowstone and practically everything else that has Sheridan's name stamped on it, they're willing to give him another go with Landman. Still, with great power comes great responsibility. And what if Landman tanks? The plot to Paramount's upcoming series. Landman, based on Christian Wallace's 11-part Boomtown podcast, features Billy Bob Thornton as Tommy Norris, a crisis executive at an oil company in West Texas. Sheridan's upcoming drama TV show follows Thornton's Tommy and the ever-changing landscape of the world of oil rigs, from the higher-ups to the ones on the ground at said oil rigs. While Landman might sound and look like Yellowstone on the outside, its trailer and everything else known about it suggests that the series will differ greatly from the previously Kevin Costner-led neo-Western show. Landman, Taylor Sheridan's new Paramount series, brings together big names like Billy Bob Thornton, John Hamm, Demi Moore, and Ali Larter. However, the story centers on Thornton's character, Tommy Norris, making him the true Landman. This focus on a single lead character sets Landman apart from Yellowstone, where the Dutton family's journey is more of an ensemble story. So while Landman may feel similar in some ways, fans shouldn't expect it to simply be a replacement for the wildly popular Yellowstone. At a glance, Landman and Yellowstone share a few elements, like intense drama and power struggles. But Landman dives into a different world altogether, the modern-day oil industry of West Texas. It follows characters from diverse backgrounds navigating the industry's impact on climate, the economy, and geopolitics. This contrasts with Yellowstone, which focuses on the Dutton family's right to hold on to their ranch in Montana. In Yellowstone, the land itself is practically a character, while Landman is more about the human and environmental costs of the oil business. In Landman, Tommy Norris's journey stands at the story's core, with a strong focus on his experiences and challenges. In Yellowstone, while John Dutton, played by Kevin Costner, has been the central figure, the show explores the lives of other key characters like Beth Dutton and Rip Wheeler, creating a richer ensemble cast. With Costner exiting after Season 5 Part 2, Yellowstone has even more room for other characters to shine, while Landman will likely keep its primary focus on Tommy. For fans looking for a series closer to Landman, Tulsa King, and Mayor of Kingstown, two other Sheridan-created shows on Paramount Plus, might offer a better comparison. Each of these series centers on a single main character. In Tulsa King, Sylvester Stallone's character Dwight the General Manfredi drives the storyline, while Mayor of Kingstown follows Jeremy Renner's Mike McCluskey. These shows, like Landman, bring in thriller elements and a focus on a lead character who shapes the series. Ultimately, Landman aims to carve out its own unique spot in Sheridan's TV lineup. It tackles themes that aren't just about personal conflicts, but also touch on larger social and environmental issues related to the oil industry. This promises a fresh story, setting Landman apart as something different rather than a Yellowstone copy. When and where to watch Part 2? The first episode of the finale, which is a continuation of the ending Part 1 and picks up where it left off, will debut after the premiere of Paramount Network. Fans will get to see the new episode on Sunday, November 10th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS, after it debuts earlier that evening on Paramount Network at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This special CBS broadcast will preempt the scheduled episode of The Equalizer and will follow an episode of CBS's popular show Tracker. International fans can also look forward to Yellowstone's return. It will be available on Paramount Plus in Canada on November 10th and in the UK on November 11th, with releases in Latin America, Brazil, and France coming soon after. 6 new episodes are coming our way, and they couldn't come soon enough. Initially, there'd been some rumors that Kelly and Cole, Beth and Rip, would be coming back for a 6th season. It's fair to say that the chances of that happening are slim to none. Although with everything that's happened in the Yellowstone universe, we can't completely rule that out. Maybe a 6th season is in fact coming, or maybe that's just something fans who are having a hard time letting go are telling themselves. Speaking of everyone's opinion on the finale, what does Kevin have to say about the show now that it's ending without him? He claimed that while he did reach out via his people to Paramount to see if he could reprise his role, he was turned down. That was probably because Taylor hadn't just written the finale, he'd also executed all of it. Reintroducing John Dutton in a filmed and greenlit finale would have cost the studio several millions, and that's excluding the millions Kevin makes each season. So he wants fans to know that while he won't be reprising his role as John, he's had a great time on the show and can't wait to see what happens next. Kevin also claimed that there's no bad blood between him and anyone from Yellowstone. According to him, everything worked out for the better, according to everyone on set too, who claimed that the finale might just be the best finale in television history. Again, a tall order, but one the cast and crew of Yellowstone believe they can deliver. That's something that's just got fans more and more excited for what's to come. In any case, we know that Taylor will deliver and he'll take fans on a roller coaster of emotions. What's going to happen in the Yellowstone finale? Let us know what you anticipated in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next one.